Hi there, this is Hansen and welcome to Insights to Impossible. In this week, I would like to talk to you about instant gratification and how to fix it, how to overcome it in favor of long-term achievement, long-term goals. This is a very, very important topic. We did a Facebook post around it a week ago and it got so much engagement that we decided to create an actual video about it and elaborate on the concept. This is something you should take very seriously. And before we get to it though, do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to my channel below to make sure that you stay updated with all this beautiful information coming your way in the future. So instant gratification really is procrastination in disguise. You are deliberately skipping over things and actions you know today you should take in favor of your long-term goals. There's an important law that comes into the picture here. It's the law of sacrifice, the law of letting go of. You see, you need to first let go of something of a lower nature before you can receive something of a higher nature. Lower nature being the temptations of every day in favor of long-term gains. There's something today you need to give up on before you can achieve something better. We live in an era, we live in a society where instant gratification is favored over anything else, whether it is food ordering from your phone, whether it's the Uber, whether it's reviews. You know, everything is based upon how fast we get a result. And if we don't get a fast result, we'll leave a bad review. So this hurry to get faster results is favored in companies too. But is faster always better? Do we have a tendency to sacrifice the longer term win in favor of some short-term gratification? And many times that answer is yes. If I asked you right now what you would do if tomorrow there was $10 million in your bank account, and I really want you to take this seriously because there could be, you could create income of that scale, but what would you do if tomorrow there were 10 million in your bank account? What would you spend the money on? Be honest with yourself. 95% would spend it on a bigger house, a bigger car, travels around the world. They would spend it on nothing but liabilities, nothing but instant gratification. 5% or less would spend it on investment property, gold, silver, stocks and bonds, investments, things that would yield them a longer term return so that they could live on that return for the rest of their life. Less than 5%. You just immediately go to instant gratification because that's what the paradigm has us do, or would your mind instantly favor longer term gains? Think about it. You know, this is part of our ancestry, it's part of our DNA, it's part of our ancient survival mechanism. We are programmed to favor instant gratification over longer term gains. We're programmed to do that. It gives us a nice shot of dopamine, which is very addictive, and we keep racing for the next carrot right there. And we don't look at the longer term. It's part of our DNA, it's part of our programming. So don't feel bad about it, but we can actually start to change it in favor of longer term gains. You see, it's actually a paradigm shift that is required. This shift in your system will wreak havoc on your mind and body for a little while. It's not going to be comfortable. But you see, the fact is that Americans today save less than ever before. More people are buried in debt, and less people are actually saving up small amounts every day. But if they did, the longer term gain would be phenomenal. They will spend every dime they have from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck for that instant gratification, for the new dress, for whatever it is, whatever that carrot represents that's dangling right in front of them right now, because it satisfies the caveman paradigm that we have. It, creates that dopamine rush right now. It's going to cause us to keep recreating the pattern. And again, can we change it? Absolutely. And that is what we're going to be going into today. There's 4 steps that we need to understand and apply in order to start winning longer term. So step number 1 is really very simple, but it is not something many people live every day. You need a very clear trajectory of where you're going. In that image, it needs to be very clear cut because we think in pictures. You need to think, feel, and act like somebody who's already achieved it so that you become more committed and more emotionally involved in the longer term goal as you would be in the dopamine rush that's created in the moment for some short-term gain. So that's number one, having a very clear trajectory. When you have that, it becomes a lot easier to say no to those temptations in the moment that you're faced with every single day. And step number two, you need to become objective on yourself and your behavior to really see where you're sidetracked, to see what it is that you become indulged in on a short-term basis. Is it Facebook evenings? Is it Netflix continuously? Do you have this habit that you divert to whenever you're faced with a challenging situation? Start becoming aware of what you are physically acting on short-term in favor of some short-term gratification versus the longer-term win. We need to make a list of those. Be very diligent here. It might take you a little while. Maybe you have to spend the weekend doing it, but it will be time well spent, I guarantee you. And it's important to understand what you're overriding these temptations with. What is it that you're going to be acting on instead? So let's say that you do have a habit of diverting to Netflix whenever you can for a little instant gratification. What could you do instead? Let's say you're working on a business. Could you spend the same time working out a business plan, looking at where to execute next? Let's say that you started adapting that into your daily routine. So every time you feel you're diverting, you have something you can act on immediately that will favor your longer term win. It could be that you start every time you get a paycheck. Every time you get a paycheck from now on, you transfer $50 into a Betterment investment portfolio maybe. It's a free app, betterment.com. I'm not getting anything out of saying this, but it's a great way to save up, and it's compound interest. So every time you feel like going out and buying, I don't know, a new pair of shoes, maybe you go to Betterment instead and transfer that same amount over to your investment portfolio. I guarantee you over a year or 2 years, you're going to see that compounding and you're going to see that portfolio grow very quickly. It's a safe way to invest in the market, and it is returns that you will get longer term. You could retire early with that model. How nice would that be? Yeah, you need to set very clear boundaries. You have your environment trying to affect you at every single turn. You have a partner, you have family, you have friends. They want to pull you in all these different directions. How good are you at setting sound boundaries, at saying no? No is a complete statement, as my mentor Bob Proctor would say. It's a complete statement. You don't have to argue why or defend your position. Just say with love and respect, no, I need to focus on this. That is the trajectory I'm going. This is what I'm working on longer term. This is my tower. I'm laying those small bricks every single day that will take me there. Fourth point to make is that you need to create a reward system, because you need to satisfy that little need for dopamine every now and then. So how could you reward yourself? But see, this is a conscious choice. Now you're not rewarding yourself out of habit. You're not letting the caveman part of your brain take control, which creates the downfall longer term. You're creating a reward system that does satisfy that need, but in a controlled environment where you get to set the terms. I have a habit of going to the mountain outside here in Las Vegas as a reward for me putting in the effort on a daily basis. And in fact, I'm going to do that this afternoon. Just had the idea now, but I'm going to do that because I have diligently worked all week on providing valuable content and serving our clients all over the world. And so today I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to go to the mountaintop, and I probably will do a Facebook Live from there as well, but that's okay. The point is you need to set something up that you can act on that will satisfy that need for dopamine. I hope that this serves you. I hope that you are going to at least build an awareness now of how you're acting every day. Is it in favor of instant gratification, which is where 95% of the population lives, buried in debt, that's why? Or are you one of very few people that belong in the 5% category that are favoring longer term gains by sacrificing things in the moment in favor of that? You get to pick. We'd love to work with you and help you get very clear on that longer term objective and look at the challenges that you might be faced with and how to overcome them. We have participants now all over the world, but if you're not yet in any one of our programs, this is a free offer to you. There's no strings attached. But if you're not part of our programs yet, we would love to offer you a 1-hour free coaching session where our team will work with you on a longer term strategy. And if it's a match at the end of the call, great, you join us on a longer journey. If it's not a match, that is okay too. But I invite you at least to apply for that coaching session. that might be the hour you're going to look back on for the rest of your life as being the most transitional, defining moment. It's a free offer. You have nothing to lose. And in my opinion, you cannot afford not to. All right? It is not who we are that holds us back. It is all the illusions of who we think we're not. Subscribe to my channel, like this video below, and I'll see you next week in Insights to Impossible.